Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're actually seeing just kind of a lot of really bad news when it comes to Sony, where they actually might be in some really big trouble. Now, in case you guys are curious, the PlayStation 5 has been doing very, very well in terms of the consoles, in terms of the sales, in terms of everything in between, and well, we do like that. That's good. We're actually seeing like some record growth and record numbers when it comes to the actual console itself, but there's another really big thing that's been, well, kind of plummeting. Now, in case you guys are curious, this is all in regards to the PlayStation VR2. Now, I've kind of even made a few videos in passing, but as of today, there's been a lot of really big news and a lot of kind of mediocre news as well when it comes to the PlayStation VR2. Now, it's not good. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when we first saw the initial PlayStation VR, I thought it was gonna be like out of stock. I thought it was gonna be instantly out of stock. I thought it was gonna be so out of stock, kind of how we had with the Xboxes and PlayStations and even Switches, that it was gonna be gone for a very long time. But apparently right now the numbers are looking dreadful. The stock is perpetually in stock, and I'm gonna be kind of curious to see if we're even gonna see a price lowerage over here just from how poorly this is all doing. So I'm gonna talk about this, talk about the news, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys want to follow. We have the Amazon links too as well if you guys want to go check out the good old consoles and everything else all in between. So, very first and foremost, we're actually seeing a lot of articles now coming out as of this where it seems like the PlayStation VR2 is literally failing. And that's kind of why I've been asking guys. Like, I've asked people on my Twitch stream, on my Twitter, and everything in between, and I have barely seen a lot of folks getting their PlayStation VR2. There are a few. If you guys did, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys like it, if you regret it, or whatever it might be. But with the really high price point, a lot of folks are skeptical. They don't necessarily know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of folks as well are also like, well, there's not really that many good games. There's a few. It's niche, but they're out there, but there hasn't been anything super crazy. So now we're seeing a lot of news articles now being like, hey, is the PSVR2 failing so soon after launch? A sign of the obvious is finally being seen. We're seeing people saying that the PlayStation 5 is scary. We're seeing big news reports such as Bloomberg talking it out. So we could talk about it. This is to say there's always a risk when introducing a new or a different kind of media into the world, one that isn't fully accepted yet. And thus there is a hurdle to cross. And I agree, like VR has been still really big on the niche side, where it just takes a while. It takes a long time. The games are still expensive. It's just a scary, scary situation. But believe it or not, the video games have actually leapt that hurdle multiple times, including the infamous crash of '83, when the market actually got so overly saturated and everything kind of had to have a nice little hard reset. As a result, many felt that games are a fad. Thankfully, though, they were wrong about that, and that kind of also sometimes lead to maybe things to PlayStation VR. But that doesn't mean everything in the gaming space is a hit. Some things still struggle to take off. One such thing might be the PSVR2, which hadn't had the launch Sony wanted. So according to industry insiders too, and I want to let some of you guys take this a little bit with a grain of salt, like a little smidgen over here, a little smidgen, because I have heard like some of these things might be a little bit skeptical, numbers might be different, and until we hear from Sony themselves, we're not going to know 100%. But like, as you guys can probably even tell, if you guys even go on, say, like the PlayStation Direct, it's been on a pre-order, was available for a very long time. Normal orders was available for a very long time, and they've just been 100% just here. Like, you guys can literally just go buy it, check it out. You guys go to normal retailers. It's not a big deal. It's really easy. And that's why a lot of folks were skeptical on if it was going to last a long time or not. So according to industry insiders, the PlayStation VR2, which has actually been out since February 22nd, so it's been over a month as of right now, has been rumored to have sold less than only 300,000 units since its arrival. Now, once again, we haven't had this 100% confirmed and 100% like from Sony themselves. It could also be even delayed. You know, sometimes these take a little while for that. But if it's only at 300,000 units, that's really not good. That's really poor. That's really, really, really bad. Like, that's horrible. Because don't forget, like, the first month, you have all those pre-order months. You have the people that are hyped about it. You have the brand new day one games. And those are the people that are probably going to have the highest numbers. Like, think the PlayStation. Like, that was insane for the first 1 or 2 days, or one or two, I guess, first months or so when it comes to it. And then kind of tapers off as time goes on. People, hardcore people buy it. They move on. People just don't want it. They move on. They see other games. They move on. When their buddies gets it and they try it out one time, they don't want it. We see the reviews, whatever it might be, people kind of move on. So in comparison, when the original headset came out, it sold almost 1 million units in under 4 months. So if this pace holds or falls, that means that the sequel didn't even come close to the original headset, which is also, once again, a huge problem for Sony. Now, once again, though, these numbers are not from officially Sony themselves. They could be a little bit higher. It could be a little bit delayed until we officially go and see Sony themselves kind of come out to it. It could be a little higher. Like, it really could. Or as well, maybe this is just like 300,000 units, say just from PlayStation Directs or just from Amazon's. You know how it could always be. So, but there's still a big issue is that why is this VR headset doing so poorly? Why is this not like being adopted? And I almost want to say from my kind of take on it, from a content creator, like I do a lot of Twitch, do a lot of YouTube, whatever, the big hitting games are cool. Like Horizon, cool. But it's not like, oh my God, I want to go and play it. Like a God of War or Spider-Man 2. Those are games, even maybe a Harry Potter if you don't have a console, or maybe even like, let's say, Animal Crossing. Those are games where people in those niches are like, I want this. I need this. I want to wake up every day and I want to play this for like the next few months. I played the first one. I want to play this. There really wasn't any like big groundbreaking games in the PlayStation VR 1 or even in general VR games that are basically like VR headset sellers. Like there's cool niche things, like people like the idea of doing like VR chat, watching movies, 3D modeling, or like even making maybe puzzle games. Or like, I don't know, it's like cool. Like I said, like watching movies. People like that. People will do that. People will be a part of that. But one of the bigger issues is that not many people want to go and spend $550 for it, let alone the $1,000 total if you also do the PlayStation 5. And as well, it's like, that's another thing, a big issue, is that the PlayStation 5 is a prerequisite. So you spend $500 in the console. But now you're also spending $550 plus the games, mind you, too, to have a chance to go check out these things. And that's, I think, the bigger struggle, is that people don't want to spend the extra money on top of the extra money from the console. Like, I'm cool with my PlayStation, because guess what? I'm a gamer. Like, I'll play Rocket League, I'll go play Apex, I'll play Call of Duty, whatever it might be. I'll play new releases. When it comes to PlayStation VR, it's just entirely niche. It's just entirely like, if I want VR, I'll hang out and play some VR. That's pretty much all I kind of got going for, you know what I mean? And that's what kind of makes things a little bit on the harder side. I don't know, it's a little bit weird for me. Mainly because like it's just so expensive. Like the price point's a big, big thing. And I've seen a lot of people critique that, where a lot of folks are like, yeah, we don't want to spend the extra money. We don't want to spend the extra $500 because it just costs a lot. And it's kind of weird to see. So basically, there's numerous reasons why people feel this is occurring. And I want to say, like I just went to, the price point. It's even more expensive than the PlayStation 5. You don't even have the games. And it's good tech. It's good hardware. People like it. People are vibing and everything in between. But bro, it's like $1,100 if you factor in tax. It's just a lot of actual extra money. And as well, too, the PlayStation 5 still has a lot of folks who need it. So like if you go drop $500 for a PlayStation, yeah, that's dope. That's cool. You like it. But do you want to spend an extra $550 to have a chance to go do anything more? Probably not. Like, you're probably chilling. You probably don't want to vibe that, like, at all. So, it's hard. Like, it's weird. At the same time, too, like, we also, I think, are kind of coming off this big, like, economy burst where a lot of folks are consumers. A lot of people want to check stuff out. A lot of people want to buy extra things. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't, if it's niche, like unless you're really doing well or just got a bonus at work, a lot more folks are trying to save money. They want to make sure they can have like money saved up in the background. They want to chill. They want to relax. And I don't disagree. I think that's very nice. I think that's very cool. But it's just a lot. It's just a lot of money. And I do think Sony is kind of in the issue because they don't have a lot of games too. Like, yeah, they have a few, but I could even tell you the next major big game. Like for the normal PlayStation, I know Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, Final Fantasy 16. These are all games I'm probably 100% going to be buying. Or even for Xbox, Starfield. I'm going to probably check out Redfall. I'm going to probably check out the new Minecraft game. I know these are coming. For VR, I couldn't tell you. And even when I made a lot of VR videos on my channel too, the interest just wasn't there. Like I literally had like it was actually officially announced. No one really cared. And it's kind of weird because it just doesn't seem like people on Twitch, people on YouTube, people even on Twitter, TikTok or whatever want to make content. I mean, there definitely is people out there, don't get me wrong, but just on the general wide scale, it's still very, very niche. Now, I do want to go and say though, although like we're only seeing 270,000 units, which is very, very rough, and maybe even the expected price cut, a reminder to this is also coming from Takashi, who's also had a little bit of the iffier side in reporting. Sometimes he's also said that they've also undersold the PlayStation, undersold like other consoles, Microsoft's in trouble, stuff like that. So you always have to take whatever he says in a grain of salt. This is why, once again, we'd want to see Sony's official numbers and kind of go from there. Because once again, 270,000 units by the end of March, horrible. Like I would consider that as like a failure. I'd be considering that PlayStation would want to go cut the prices, or probably would have a lot of these big market meetings being like, bro, what do we do better? How do we make this better? What is going on? And it just seems like a scary, scary situation for them to be in because it seems bad. It's like bad news that they just can't sell their stuff. And once again, like the PlayStation VR was cool. A lot of people liked it, had good reviews. The games out there were cool, but it's just not enough to justify a $550 price point. And I do think Sony's going to be worried about it, like especially with now this kind of this bad notion They could have maybe even sold 1 million, and they just haven't had a chance to fully release the numbers. But if it is close to this 270,000 number, I think a lot of folks might be a lot more worried and a lot more scared, and maybe not even as happy with their PlayStation VR2. So if you got one, give me your thoughts and comments down below. And if not, well, let me know why you guys didn't want to go get one in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch from down below if you guys want to follow. And of course, all the Amazon links too for everything else. And I appreciate you guys always so much for watching. Leave a like. Want more videos all for you guys tomorrow.